Roppstar gang, what up? Happy Friday. TGIF to all you fools in the live stream. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. Appreciate everyone coming through. Again, happy Friday, man. We are on the verge, of course, in week 2 preseason for the Carolina Panthers and, of course, across the NFL. If you see me looking over to my left or right, I am I got the games. I got the game on. So I'm watching some of the we got the Falcons game, that's on right now, watching some of that. And then of course I'm keeping we got another preseason game on tonight. I don't know who else is on tonight. I have to go check it out. I just can't. I know there's another game on tonight, but I can't remember. I know it's the Falcons and Titans right now, but I don't remember the other game that's on tonight. So, but shout out to everyone in the chat already. Jeff R, Josiah, what's good? Appreciate y'all coming through. This is going to be a call-in show, so people can come up if y'all want to talk some ball. Let's talk some ball. Hold on, I'm fixing something here. Of course, I'm always fixing something. I'm always fixing something here. All right. Eric Blair, what's up? Yeah, Seattle and Kansas City. That's the one. That is the one. Definitely going to be, of course, listen, I'm going to watch anything and everything that has to do with football right now. I don't care that it's preseason, right? But I'm going to watch anything and everything that has to do with preseason. So, or not even preseason, just, you know what I mean? I'm going to watch anything and everything that has to do with the NFL football right now that comes on. I don't care. I could care less. Like, even like high school, high school's popped on. Like, I've seen some high school games, I think already, if I'm not mistaken. If it was high school or whatever it was. So, but yeah, I got the Falcons game on over here. So shout out to everyone in the chat. Sorry, I'm just blabbing here. What up, Clay, Ski, Jeff R, Eric? What's up? I had to, by the way, guys, I had to address some Houston Texans fans that commented on my one of my shorts when I broke down the joint practice yesterday, saying that we had a few sacks on CJ Stroud and that we had an interception on. And they go, well, that's fake news. That didn't happen. Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, okay, well, let's back it up. Let's back it up what I said. So let's check this out real quick. We had to put some people in check today because things that coming out of my mouth on this channel is not fake news. This is not CNN. Okay. This is not CNN fake news. But just so y'all see it for yourself, you can go check it out in the community chat if you want. Basically, they said that it was fake news. So I said, okay, beat writers confirmed that CJ Stroud got planted multiple times yesterday. Texans joint practice. And technically he didn't get planted. Okay. Like, they didn't put him in the ground. They just touched him. Okay. They're not like slamming CJ Stroud to the ground. Okay. Joint practice. But he did toss a pick. It wasn't, he tossed a pick, posted that video of Mike Jack today. Y'all saw it. So there's proof there. So these Texas fans want to scream fake news. I got plenty of receipts if you want them. Keep talking. Basically, keyboard warriors, and I'll keep dropping facts. So the funny thing is, I don't see those comments anymore. Where did they go? Why don't I see them anymore? Oh, probably because I hit you with these posts that said everything from beat writers. So smell you later. That's all I got to say to those Houston Texans fans. Smell you later. Smell you later. All right. So, anyways, Brock Jones, what's good? Straight from the traffic in 843. It's terrible out here right now. Lomax, what's good, my guy? D Perkins, what's good? What is going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages? All right, let's dive into it. I'm going to go ahead and open up the stream to you guys. So if you want to join in on these conversations, feel free to, okay? Feel free to. Hold on, I gotta fix the Xbox real quick. Gotta fix the Xbox. Bam. All right. Had to fix the Xbox. Up there I went. Oh, that's because I'm over here messing with stuff. All right. Let me pull up my nice PowerPoint presentation for you guys. Present, full screen. There we go. All right, first things first. So we're going to talk about this tonight. Obviously. So here's the thing. The Carolina Panthers, the last time we scored, the offense scored only 10 points in that preseason against the Cleveland Browns. That number is about as meaningful as a fortune cookie prediction. Okay, Bryce Young played 2 series. One of them ended with a touchdown to Jalen Coker. We all know that. That's the preseason equivalent of like finding $20 in your jeans. You know, it's like it's a pleasant surprise, but not exactly the sign you've won the lottery, right? So we know this offense is still in the lab. They're not going to show their cards, right? They're not going to show their full hand. Okay, it's going to be vanilla. So is this defense. It's going to be vanilla. They are strategizing through these games because right now, all this is right now, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is an evaluation period. By the way, can I throw a fun stat out there to you the last game? Did you know when the first team defense was on the field? Okay. Did you know when the first team defense was on the field? Do you know what Shedeur Sanders was? He was 2 for 7 for he was 3 for 7 for like 13 yards or something like that. There's a stat I saw out there. It was when the first team's guys were on the field for the Panthers. He was like 3 for 7, and I think it was maybe 31 yards. Maybe it might have been 31. I don't know, but it still wasn't like, you know, he was cooking us up, okay, until the second and third team got out there, okay? But this is evaluation period. So I want to make this clear, all right? This offense is still in the lab. They're cooking something up. The goal right now isn't to win games, ladies and gentlemen. It's establishing rhythm, testing the depth, avoiding injuries, evaluating players really one-on-one. We're evaluating these players by just themselves. Okay, that's what you're doing. So with this 3-game preseason format now, week 2 is often when the starters see most of the work, which translation, I expect Bryce Young and these offensive starters to actually be out there at least 3 series this time, maybe even 4 against the Texans. I've heard the Texans are going to be playing their ones. Now, of course, we've got some guys out. We'll dive into that a little bit more, but the Texans, by the way, didn't use many of their starters in their opener against Minnesota. So if they roll out the first team defense this time, that is going to be a better measuring stick when you're going up against guys like Danielle Hunter and, of course, Will Anderson, who both of those guys last year. Here's a fun fact for you. Danielle Hunter was the number 1 from edge rusher standpoint from with a win rate. He was number 1 in the league for win rate as a pass rusher. Will Anderson Jr. was number 2. Or no, not number 2, number 7. So this will be, if they put those guys out there, plus you got Derek Stingley Jr., right, out there alongside Kamari Lassiter. I think the Texans defensive front is very underrated. So, you know, I think that this would be a big measuring stick for this team. Okay? If we got to go against the Texans first team. Okay? First team. So, if we can do that, and we can move the goalpost that way, then it will really show where Carolina's offense stands, right? Especially since if Houston's tech defense, again, they're one of the most have been one of the most hyped as one of the most disciplined and disruptive units in the league. So again, the scoreboard is irrelevant in these games, ladies and gentlemen. All right. What matters is the film, and I'm going to give you guys what's worth watching. So we're going to start off on this first topic for me. Okay. This first topic for me is, Bryce Young and Tre'von McMillan. Is this something that's built? Are we building something here real? Right? Is this really building something real? Or is it just a tease for us? Now, for me, some people, I still think there's people, I've seen Carolina fans out there who are very skeptical of the Tre'von McMillan and Bryce Young combination. Okay. I don't know how. I don't know how. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I was doing my draft series and I was breaking down film, Tre'von McMillan wasn't my number one wide receiver coming out of this draft. Okay. Personally, I thought Emeka Egbuka was the most complete receiver in this draft, and I thought he was a better fit for Bryce due to the separation that he can create, right? His route running tree is just out of this world, okay? So I just saw that from Emeka Egbuka's standpoint. I wasn't opposed to Tre'von McMillan. I just felt like Emeka Egbuka would be a better fit with Bryce, but I didn't put into account some things with Tre'von McMillan brought to the table that I think that we didn't have here. And so, had to change of heart. But again, last week, Bryce Young hits McMillan on that deep shot, that go route on the sideline, right? 30-yard pass, the kind of high difficulty connection. I mean, he made, in that play, we all know which play I'm talking about, right? The go route, 50-50 ball. I mean, Tre'von McMillan made it look like an 80-20, okay? It was 80% his, 20% maybe going back to the other guy, but that wasn't happening, right? So we haven't seen – I mean, when's the last time Carolina's really seen a wide receiver like Tre'von McMillan? I mean, we haven't seen much of a wide receiver, to be honest with you. I mean, DJ Moore was DJ Moore, but we haven't seen a guy that can elevate your quarterback or you just know is going to be there, that you can really feel that. What's the word I'm going for? He's going to elevate your quarterback, but he's going to elevate guys around him. He's going to take pressure off of other guys. He's going to make a play, right? A playmaker, right? We haven't seen a true playmaker. That's what I'm going for. Really since Steve Smith. And that was, when he was terrorizing secondaries. Yeah, Josiah, with the throw that Bryce had, he did make it. He didn't make it. So, again, we haven't seen something like a playmaker of a wide receiver since Steve Smith. Now, I'm not comparing Tre'von McMillan to Steve Smith, so don't get it twisted. Okay? Not comparing Tre'von McMillan because we're talking about two different body types. Okay? So, don't get it twisted. Okay? But, again, hold on. I'm trying to pin this. There we go. There we go. So, guys, people want to come in. So, I mean, again, McMillan's can track the ball, man, beautifully. He made that older shoulder grab with the defender closing fast. But again, when Tre'von McMillan brings that 50-50 ball, go-getter guy, he's a very polished route runner, right? We saw that too as well. He's also a red zone guy. We saw that as well. Even though he missed that touchdown, that's okay. It was just a rookie mistake, but it was great anticipation by Bryce, knowing where the ball needed to be. And I don't think, obviously, Tre'von McMillan obviously he wasn't ready, but it's all good, right? It's all good. So it all worked out. In the end, we got the touchdown, but still, they'll figure that out as time goes on. But the thing that McMillan brings to the table is the hands and the body control. I mean, he's got elite hands and the body control, and we haven't had somebody again like a playmaker since Steve Smith. But again, we haven't had a wide receiver like Tetero McMillan either. What he brings to the table. So people can say Kelvin Benjamin, but Kelvin Benjamin was a bust. Let's be honest. All right, and he was one Bellberry biscuit away from being OB. So let's call it what it is. All right.
What's up?
Lomax, what's good, my guy?
What's up? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Oh man, working a 16-hour shift.
There we go. I was like, I got to get him up on stage here.
Yes, sir.
What you got for me?
Not much.
What are you thinking about this connection? Do you think they're building something real here, or do you feel like it's just a tease?
I think we actually building something with Tech, and I like the Jimmy Horn pick too.
Right.
I'm just interested to see how many receivers we actually keep
Mm-hmm.
Going into the season, and who's gonna get dropped. Because me, honestly, I know Thielen is our go-to guy, but I would kind of like move the Thielen stages just to take the blockage away from everybody else, like our young guys.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I was listening to Mike K and Alex Zelo of the Charlotte Observer. They have the little podcast. I was listening to them on Spotify. They kind of made a good point that Adam Thielen, we really need to see, because I think we can base off what we can do with Adam Thielen if we wanted to trade him or if we're going to keep him, who's going to stay with the wide receiver room. But they made a good point that we really need to see, because of him dealing with a hamstring injury, now he's back on the field, really Renfrow. Like that, like they were saying, and that's a good point. It's like, let's see what with Renfrow coming back, and of course in this game, let's see what we got out of Renfrow. Is Renfrow really going to be the guy that we saw in 2020, the Pro Bowl wide receiver, or are we going to get a guy that's just ends up being just washed again? Like, is he just washed now? Like that's where we've got to figure out. Like, is he washed, or are we getting back to that 2020 stage? Right. Obviously, that alternative Calais does not help, but it makes a good point. We need to see what we have out of Hunter Renfrow. And if Renfrow can be even 80% of what he was when he was a Pro Bowl, then maybe they might make a move with Thielen. But it's hard for me to think that they're also going to get rid of Thielen, because they didn't make this point. They gave Thielen more money to his contract. They didn't extend him. They just added money to his contract. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I still see it where it's T-Mac, XL, Thielen, Coker. I think Renfrow still makes the team, and I think it's Jimmy Horn. I really think David Moore is the odd man out.
I'm thinking more of, even if we keep Thielen, then get rid of David Moore.
Okay.
Just give us an extra space.
Fair.
I don't getting too many reps, but I know he get reps every now and again. I don't know how they're gonna play it, but we need to get these young guys going with Bryce, the rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think Tetero McMillan, I think they're going to force feed him. Okay, so I mean, PFF even came out and said that they think Bryce is going to force feed him, which I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because here's the thing. Like, I felt like from this preseason game with even the small amount of reps, I felt like between Bryce and T-Mac, the duo left some meat on the bone in that game, to be honest with you. Especially on what could have been on that touchdown. And then Young fired fired that ball before, McMillan finished his break. And so the rookie couldn't get his hands up on time. The timing was off by a half a heartbeat, but it was great anticipation by Bryce. So that's fixable. But the fix starts with more reps in camp and of course some more live tests like this weekend. So I think if this team is serious about stretching the field in 2025, I think this pairing has to be more than just one-off highlight. I expect Young I want to see them test that deep connection again with each other.
Well, they're supposed to play a little bit longer this week. That's what
I think they're going to play. I think they're only going to play 3 series. I maybe 4, but no more than that.
Yeah. You don't want to.
You don't want to test it. You don't want to test it too much, and the next thing you know, because it's going to bring up to my next point. Because one of my next things I'll be watching is, this right here. It's like the offensive line without Damian Lewis. We're out with Damian Lewis.
Yeah, that's scary.
We're out with Chandler Zavala. So this is a big ordeal here because now you're looking at it this way. You're kind of doing trial by fire. The injuries have already hit this interior. You got starting guard Damian Lewis, who's out with a shoulder injury. You got backup Chandler Zavala, who's nursing a knee issue. So, the Panthers, I feel like they claim they built enough depth to handle this, but we're about to find out if that's actually true or what, because I know we brought everything back. But what I don't understand is why are they testing? Because here's the thing: if Cade Mays is the left guard, let's say, and God forbid this happens, let's say Cade Mays is the left guard going into the season because Chandler's about Damian Lewis. Cade Mays needs a backup. Now again,
that's what I was about to say.
Yep, and Christensen plays left tackle. He's a better. You can tell that this coaching staff prefers Christensen to back up at left tackle, or if they needed to put him at left tackle there, then they would put him in left guard. I mean, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Either Cade Mays or Christensen. But I was thinking more Christensen. I would think he'd be straight there, as a backup. But
right,
really wanted to get more offensive line, in our later rounds when we was drafted. Just for things like this, that we do got the number ones in those spots, on our offensive line, and this is a proven year for Icky. So we got to see what's going to happen with that because the offensive line.
You want to keep that continuity because I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and I mean, at least from what I saw, I felt like with Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt in there, and of course, even when Cade Mays came in and Austin Corbett, went out, I felt like our offensive line still played like a top 10 unit, which statistically they did. And but I felt like Ike Ekwonu took a step up last year. I think that he needs to step up even more because there's still some mishaps. There was still some miscommunication. And I think that's still, of course, you're playing alongside new guys. But also at the same time, he also allowed a few sacks too. Again, he's also going up against the best edge rushers on the opposing teams most of the time anyways. I mean, it's hard for a guy to come out there in his rookie year in the first game. He's got to go up against Myles Garrett. I mean, what are you going to – I mean, it's like –
Well, he did say he flagged off on that first year. He was going up – the second year because he was talking he was going off for the first year. First year, he didn't do too bad. Second year, he kind of stanked it up a little bit more.
Right.
But we don't have nobody that would have challenged him at that position. Like, hey, look, we know we drafted you early, but hey, this can be snatched away.
Yep. I think Christensen's the only guy that can probably test him at this point. Yeah. And so again, we're about to find out if this is actually true or how this depth is going to handle because. Again, Houston, if they're playing their ones again, and according to what I've heard, they're going to be playing most of their ones too. Again, it's just like I said earlier, Houston's defensive line is really no joke. Now, according to the joint practice, it was basically even. And again, that's good news. Again, going up against a team that's won back-to-back AFC South titles, and it went 10-6, 10-7 the past 2 years. So, and you've got two of the best edge rushers in the NFL. So, obviously their head rushers are always going to be the headline between those two, but the interior can still collapse that pocket. If your guards, come off slow off that snap, they're going to close that shit real quick. So, the mission, I think, for this game, for this offensive line is simple. I want to see them keep Bryce Young upright long enough for those plays to develop, because if the pocket stops folding after, 2 seconds, the chemistry we're talking about with McMillan won't even matter at that point, because he's not going to be able to get the ball to him.
Yeah. So we got a couple of things to be looking out for. I really want to see what happened on that defensive side. Like, I seen pressure added, but as much as we was trying to be impressed for it, I haven't really seen nothing really, like, with Scourton trying to hold out for the money and stuff. Like, I want to see. Wasn't that him that they had the press conference with, and they said he was like, "What took y'all so long?"
Yeah, and I mean, Scourton, I felt like if Scourton did more than Princely did. I think for me, I'm going to be checking on Princely a little bit more. Now, again, I want to see him get some burn. He didn't really do much. I mean, he showed. I think he had like one tackle. So I mean, he was out there, but he's just like, I felt like Scourton outplayed him for sure. I mean, even though, because Scourton went out there and went and chased down Shador and got the sack, even though it wasn't like a true sack, but So I'm definitely going to be looking into them. I'm actually there's something I was going to allude to here shortly. Another thing I was going to say is, and I know this was not like the biggest deal in the world, but like for me, I want to still continue to look at this running back rotation. Like, could any of these guys really take reps away from Chuba Hubbard? Because, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think so either. Because I think the pecking order now, I mean, and you can tell me what you think. I think the pecking order now is clear. Like, you got Chuba, who's going to be, who's your opener. Rico's going to be who's going to come in once the starter started rotating out. And then week 2, I think this week should feature more real, obviously we're going to see more real starter minutes. So I think that means that we might get a better read on how this backfield will actually function, right? Because is this really truly Hubbard's backfield with the Daddle as a situational piece, or will this coaching staff go with a straight committee approach? Because
that's what it looks like, though, because of the simple fact that from the couple of reps we did see from Dabble, he didn't really do nothing like that. Right. Is it a difference between where he came in the game? So are they gonna come out there in a formation with 2 running backs and give him the reps?
Yep.
Give him the ball.
Yep.
Have Chuba block or use him as a decoy.
Right.
I see that this year.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets too. I think with Mitchell Evans, and of course, I mean, obviously when Tommy Tremble comes back, I don't know. I think for more of the receiving style, I think they'll go with Mitchell. I mean, they may go Tommy Tremble. I don't know. He's still up in the air too as of right now, but I think that answer matters, especially in this running back room. Like, is this truly Hubbard's backfield, or is this, is Daddle a situational piece? Or
from what we've seen so far, like it, and they just paid him, so
right. Or
which I was hoping.
Yeah, or it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna be. Could it be the committee approach, like you said?
Yeah,
I think that answer matters a lot because, because it tells us how I think they're going to manage that ground game to really support Bryce. Again, everything they're going to be doing in this offense is to support him.
Yeah, I think this year is going to be important for Hubbard anyway, because after this year we might move off of him depending on what happens with Jonathan Brooks, and they might keep ETN. So those might be the two. I don't think we're gonna re-sign Dowell. He's just a 1-year rental.
Yeah.
So
I think we'll see. I mean, and here's the thing: if Brooks comes back and he can get back to what he was expected to be out of Texas, great. Yeah. If not, you at least have Daddle, and you can move on from Brooks, and you can sign, and then you can re-sign Daddle. You know what I mean? So, if you want to go that approach, or ETN comes in, and then they go out and draft another running back, and just keep getting it younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So who knows? So on the offensive side, I got some questions. Can Young and McMillan become that legitimate vertical threat? From the offensive line standpoint, can they survive without those key pieces? And then who's in charge of the run game? That's what I'm going to be watching on the offensive side. Of course, there will be some players I want to, of course, individual players I want to see. Of course, like I want to see some Mitchell Evans get some burn, Jadavion Sanders get some burn. I want to really see Renfro get some burn, Jimmy Horn Jr., of course. And then, of course, I think another thing I'm going to be watching is the biggest thing I think on the offensive side of the ball I'm going to be watching for sure is going to be Xavier Legette, because, of course, we have this whole stigma going around in Panthers world that, maybe we should look to trade this guy. I saw someone tweet about that the other day, or, what can we get for Xavier Legette? Or, people are just giving up on him just because he didn't even play didn't even get a chance to because he got in a fight. So, at the end of the day, man, like you want your best players out there no matter what.
Another thing that a lot of people don't talk about, I want to see what kind of progress Plummer done had, because if we got him still as number 3 right now, so I want to see because Dalton's not gonna be around forever, so we got to see what this guy got or we need to move on and think about something else in the future, like another, because that's gonna be the backup if anything was to happen with Bryce. Thank God it hasn't happened.
Right.
Nothing. Little guy's tough. Case type deal. Because you seen what happened with the Niners when they lost all they quarterbacks.
Right. I said it, before though, I was like, man, we should have probably, and actually someone made a good point. I think we should have brought in another quarterback for some competition, like to give, I'm not even necessarily saying someone to take the starting job, but to give more competition to Dalton and Plummer to really, just like you said, get somebody, because Dalton's not going to be around forever. Is Jack Plummer really going to be good enough to at least be a decent backup? It's a good question to ask.
Yeah.
But hell, there's some people out there, I'm not going to lie to you. I've had conversation where people think that Plummer could be better than Bryce Young and could be a starter. So that's that's neither here nor there. But all right, let's move on to the next thing here. Unless you got to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna take off. I'm done with my break. But
I appreciate you coming through, Lomax. I appreciate talking some ball with you, brother.
I'm gonna still be listening, brother.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right.
Enjoy your rest of your night at work, brother.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Lomax coming through, man. If anybody wants to come through, you're more than welcome to, man. We're gonna be talking all night. I pinned the StreamYard link in the chat, so feel free to come through if you want to talk. Feel free to come through. You're more than welcome to, man. Any of y'all are more than welcome to. Let me get to some of your comments because I know I probably missed some of them because I was chatting it up. Let me see what we got. Phenom, what's good, man? It's good, fam. Even if they're fake. Yeah. Let's see what we got. Rock Jones preseason. What's up, SC Panthers boy? What's good? Josiah. I think I said hi to you earlier. Did I say hi to you earlier? No. What's up, Josiah? Appreciate you coming through, my guy. Mac 4 really might be our new good wide receiver. You know who I'll be watching. I'm gonna get to him in a second, Rock Jones. Yeah, man. I think Renfro gonna be lethal as long as Canales includes him. Yeah, absolutely. Thielen still catching 100. That's true, Christian Locklear. David Moore is the only one that will clear waiver. So yes, he's the odd man out. I hear you there, Jeff R. Absolutely. I'll be at the game tomorrow. Nice, Brandon. Shout out. That's awesome, man. I didn't hear too many problems with the O-line during joint practice for what it's worth. Right. Now I know that Josiah. We'll just see. Right. Again, we'll just see. That was a hell of a catch by Helm. Did y'all see that catch? I don't know if y'all watching the Tennessee Falcons game, but what's his name? Helm. That's the rookie tight end out of Texas is having a hell of a game. Four catches, 48 yards, touchdown. Carefully, we've seen that what 19 can do. Let's see Renfro get through a season before we anoint him for sure. So who's starting left guard? Mays. Yes, he is. Yeah, Marcos. He's got Icky's footwork's got to be better, especially on speed rushers. That's the biggest thing that Icky has trouble with is speed rushers. So I hate to be that guy, but it was Umami Ellen that said what took y'all so long. Oh, it was. Yep. Right now, it's hard for us to sell play action because Bryce is hardly ever under center. Again, that it's going to be. It's also the fact that they're running a vanilla playbook, man. So they're not going to show all their cards. Again, it's going to be a vanilla playbook all preseason. That's why I keep telling y'all it's an evaluation period. Don't worry about the scoreboard. We need to move on from Plumber Bros, not a pro. Josiah, I'm telling you, I keep telling people the same thing. But they don't listen to me. Andy Dalton is not Derek Anderson. No, he's not. Clay, you always open the lines every single time. No. Sorry, man. I don't do it on purpose. Hayden, what's up, man? JHRKK, what's up? Appreciate you coming through. Hey, Roppstar, how's it going? What the heck's going on with this awful high humidity? The traffic seems way worse than usual. It's people getting in that last minute vacation and dude, it's always like this. Plus, I think we've got a hurricane off the coast that could be causing which I think is causing all this rain and humidity. So yeah, Clay, he's hardly ever under center in general in 2 years. Hey, don't shoot the messenger, man. There's people out there that think Plummer can be better than Bryce Young. So, again, don't shoot the messenger. So, I'm just letting you all know what I'm being told. Guys, you're more than welcome to join the stream. You can stay as long as you like. The StreamYard link is in the chat, so feel free if you want to come through. We're going to be just diving into this preseason preview. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. Again, make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. That's all I ask. All right, I'm going to move on to the defensive side of the ball. What up, my guy Clay? The line's still open. I just tuned in. But the wife came in here. Yeah, the lines are open, Kendall. You're all good, brother. You're all good. Well, I was just talking about the offense. I can go back to the offense if you want to talk about it. So don't worry. I'll go back to the offense for you if you want me to. But I was talking about the offense. So you're more than welcome to hop in whenever you're ready. Yeah. I can go back to the offense. I was actually getting ready to talk about the defense. People like a man named Howard. Is that who it is, Ken 888? Is that who it is? No, stay defense. Okay. Is that who it is, Ken 88? Howard's funny, man. Hey, Howard's a real one, though. He's the same guy every single time. Hey, Howard's the man, though. He's awesome. I know who Howard is. I'm just busting his balls. All right, let's go into the defense. So now our defense I'm going to say this last week. I'll say this. The starters barely got their cleats dirty. Okay. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't shrug off just preseason, because there is some stuff on the defensive side. I'm just like, the stuff that we did see wasn't very encouraging, at least from the bad depth. Really got exposed fast, right? That's why I'm saying depth here. That's why I put depth. What depth? That's what Cam Jackson, Jaden Crometti, Bam Martin Scott. I put those guys up there. I'm not like blaming them. I'm just use them for image, of course. But that's who's up there, just for your guys to know. But this matchup against the Texans won't offer I don't think it's going to offer a crystal clear answer, because preseason rotations turn games into really glorified scrimmages. But it will give us a chance to see which defenders belong and which are destined for the practice squad or destined to not actually be here, right? The ugly truth is that this defense falls off a cliff once the starters leave. Derek Brown, Jaden Crometti should be backing him up, right? Bobby Brown III goes down or comes out. I think Cam Jackson should be backing him up. That's just me personally. But I felt like Friday night really proved that. Like, once those starters go out, that defense fell off a cliff. So the first unit was fine in that brief time, but the backups were consistently getting pushed around, out of position, or just flat out beaten. Right? You know what I mean? He swears up and down that Jake is the guy. That's funny. Do you think we owned the practice? I thought it was even. Ken 88. They made some plays. We made some plays. They made some mistakes. We made some mistakes. Their run game was a little bit shaky. I didn't hear much about our run game, but yeah. We need linebackers, Clay. We haven't had a stud linebacker since Luke. The only way we're getting a linebacker at this point, if y'all want the next Luke Kuechly or something, it's going to have to be in the draft. Unless somebody off of waivers ends up just being this hidden gem, or Dan Morgan goes out and makes a trade to get and he picks up the phone and makes a trade. That's all I got at this point, Hayden. At least for right now. If we're talking right now, that's all I got. What's our floor this year, Clay Doe? 7-10. I'll say 7-10. I think our floor is 7-10. That's just me. I think our floor is 7-10. Are you going to be worried if the second string D plays really bad and if Bryce happens to play bad? I'll be a little worried. I'm already worried about the defense from the second string standpoint. Because again, it's just like I said, when the starters left that game last Friday, the defense fell off a cliff. Like, the first unit was fine in that brief time, like I said, but the backups were consistently getting pushed around. They were out of position. They were falling out of beat. Like, I don't know. Because that's not just a preseason quirk, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you right now, what I saw is a roster problem. Because, and this is just my opinion, I think injuries are inevitable in 17-game seasons. We know that. Right now, Carolina's second and third string units look like a recipe for opponents who could put up 30 points without breaking a sweat. Now, of course, if Derek Brown stays healthy, great. J.C. Horn stays healthy, great. But you're going to have injuries here and there throughout the season. So, still, Preseason is about finding the expectations. The expectation is for these guys who are behind our starters, if one of them goes down, is able to step up no matter the talent. The guys who refuse to bend into mediocrity. Because every August, this is the thing, a few names rise from the ashes, I guess you could say, whatever you want to say, but they rise up, right? And they force their way into that conversation. And I think most of them won't survive final cuts, but some will. Those players is what I'm going to be watching for. Those are going to be the players who are going to be watching this weekend. I think these are guys who would be worth watching. I think Jaden Crometti is a guy to be worth watching. I think Cam Jackson's a guy to be worth watching. And I think Bam Martin Scott's a guy to be worth watching. Steve-O with that $1.99. He brings in a smiley face. What's up, Steve-O? Hopefully you're not doing any jackass things. Hopefully you're not. And if y'all, you gotta understand that where I'm coming from. I feel we could pull 10 if Bryce plays like the end of last season. You think? Yes. Ken 88. If Bryce plays, Bryce went 4-6 that last 10 games of the season. He also had a top 8, not a top 10, a top 8 QBR rating in that last 10 games. The last 3 games, he went 10 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. So yeah, if Bryce can play like he did at the end of last season, and really push that ball down the field, be efficient, be smart with the football, doesn't have it crazy footwork, just play smart, take care of the football like he did last year, continue to have that confidence, seems calm in the pocket, right? He'll be fine. But the moment he goes out there and he ends up having this cha-cha slide with his footwork, and you can tell that he's not comfortable, and that's when you start seeing what you saw the first 2 weeks of the season last year. All right. But yeah, definitely. I could see 10 wins if he plays like he did last year. We definitely had the potential to be really ass again this year. Offense, fine. Defense got to find identity. If the D crumbles over, it's over. Again, we'll see. We look better on paper, but again, we go through injuries every single year, right? And I really need to see these guys step up, right? I can't trust Shy Tuttle, but I can give Cam Jackson the chance. I can give Jaden Crometti, who before he got injured last year showed a lot of flashes, right? Bam Martin Scott has, I know he's 25 years old, but he is a rookie. I think he has all the potential in the world. He's shown a lot of flashes in training camp. Can he step up in that linebacker room? I think Chris Barnes is also a guy to not sleep on in that linebacker room who had a pick in the joint practice. So I wouldn't sleep on him. Is Derek Brown even going to play? I don't know. I don't know if there's been confirmation on that. Maybe we'll be surprised on that, Lomax. I mean, I don't think so. I think that Derek Brown, they're going to, because there are these guys on this team right now that they're just like, hey, we want you ready for week 1. And I think Derek Brown's one of them. So that's my opinion on it, Lomax. Hi, everyone. What's up, Swoop? So be realistic. Wide receiver getting destroyed by the Texans tomorrow. So be realistic. Wide receiver getting destroyed by the Texans tomorrow. So be realistic. We getting destroyed by the Texans. No, it's preseason. If we get destroyed, we get destroyed. It's preseason. Again, we get I don't care what happens on the scoreboard. Like, we got to stop worrying about what's happening on the scoreboard, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? What we need to be worried about is these evaluations for these players. Okay? That's what we need to be worried about. Okay? I don't care about the scoreboard. I am looking at these players to say, hey, this guy's going to make the roster. This guy's not. This is an evaluation period. I don't care about the scoreboard. The scoreboard has nothing to do with preseason. It doesn't affect us regular season wise. Right? So, no, I'm not going to be, I'm not looking into preseason that hard. So, appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor. Make sure you smash that like button, hit that subscribe button on your way in and on your way out. Y'all are awesome. We got over 55 people joining. Again, we're trying to reach, so every live stream, guys, by the way, we're trying to reach 100 likes or more. That is the live goal. All right. That is the live goal. Yo, Roppstar Gain, how do we think the rest of the division is looking compared to us? Well, if you want to hear that, make sure you go tune into the NFC South Roundtable at Roundtable Sports. Go over to their channel on YouTube. Make sure you'll go like and subscribe, and then go subscribe to Roundtable Sports, but then go over to the NFC South Roundtable by Roundtable Sports. Go subscribe over there, and that's how you find out all that information. So, hold on. I'm trying to edit this real quick. Bam. That's better. That's better. That's better. Yeah, that's better. All right, let's move on. Safety battle. The safety battle. It's not over. It's not over. This safety battle is not over by a long shot. I know a lot of us Panther fans are raising our eyebrows when we see Nick Scott lined up with Tre'von Moehrig, when we look at the unofficial depth chart and he is the starting free safety. The online reaction that I'm seeing from a lot of you guys is panic. Here's the reality of the situation, guys. Veteran status buys you early reps in preseason. It doesn't guarantee you'll be the week one starter, but I will tell you this. Damani Richardson is making sure of that. Okay? He flashed real tackling range against Cleveland, including cleanly executed sack. He's building on an impressive 2023, or building on an impressive, well, he had an impressive 2023 preseason. I don't know why I said 2023, but but he's building off of some stuff last year, right? And he's building off of a good training camp as well this year. Lathan Ransom, meanwhile, is stacking solid days of practice too. And he's got reps, both the 2s and 3s. Like, I feel like Scott's presence with the starters is more about his resume than his recent play. Here's what I think Nick Scott needs to be. I think Nick Scott needs to be a mentor for this team and just help out on special teams. That's what he needs to be. Whereas it should be Ransom. Me personally, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Ransom. I think Ransom could be the starter. Maybe Damani starts out as the starter and then Ransom takes over. I don't know. I just like what I see from a Ransom from a tackling standpoint and what he brings to the table. I feel like he's more of a hybrid role, right? Kind of like Tre'von, but I don't know. I like the fact that he has that championship, experience in college, right? Winning a national championship. So I also like that. right? But I think, again, if Richardson keeps delivering impact snaps, which he is, and Ransom keeps improving, the safety depth chart could look very different by the time September rolls around. That's what I'm going to say. Teams can win all their preseason games and still lose the season, vice versa. Absolutely. Amazing K comes in and says, what's up, Clay? What's up, man? Snot. Is that your nickname for Nick Scott? Snot is definitely special teams. He just needs to be, like I said, a mentor for these young guys, right? Because Nick Scott has had he's been in the league, 9-10 years? So give him credit where credit's due in that standpoint, right? But I think he needs just to be a mentor to these other guys and let the youth movement continue, not just on the edge rushing side, right? Let the youth movement continue even into the safety depth chart. If we're going to continue this youth movement, let's do it all around, right? Josiah, Broski Bear surprisingly thinks that we're going to be a top 15 offense and a bottom 3 defense. So we're just going to be basically a middle of the pack team. He probably thinks we're going to go 7-10. I think that's what he's thinking. Evero is bullshit. Richardson and Ransom are backups to free agent signing. Yeah, I know. Nick Scott got to go for sure. Kendall, what's good?
Yo, what up, my guy?
What's up, man? What you doing?
Hey, I had to if I can't escape the wife in the man cave, what's the next big step?
Hop in your car and say you're going gonna go get some beer or something. I don't know.
Or just hop in the car and don't say anything and just hope she don't notice.
Yeah, that's true. But it's better to say less, right?
There you go. So, but nah, man. Thank you for having me again.
I'm gonna change that. Hold on. No. Yeah, you keep going. I'm gonna fix it.
Okay. Yeah. I see you got it on the safety battle now.
Yeah. What did you want to talk about? I can move it back if you want.
Oh no. It's fine. It's pretty much the same thing because you were just talking about the depth, and I was gonna say our depth is so not good that Nick Scott is the starter, right? So it kind of goes straight into what you're talking about with the safety battle. So, but here's kind of like my thoughts or questions on that.
Yeah.
Being that training camp is closed for us, we're really mostly going off the media. And, nothing against, Vanti, Mike K, any of those people, whatever.
Right.
But to me, they're mostly just giving highlights. But they're not there like you would do, Dunk would do, Dave and Shard would do. They're not there looking at how are they looking in coverage when the ball isn't thrown to them. Things like that or whatever.
Yeah.
So how much are we really getting to really, draw a conclusion? And even with the first game, right? I wouldn't put too much stock into it. This was these guys' first real live action. So right. How much do we really want to dive into that?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's just obviously not having boots on the ground doesn't help, so we're doing it from afar. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely be looking to take it as a glass half full. Maybe. I mean, is that what you're kind of getting at, right?
I want to be glass half full, but I'm based, especially last year. I'm real close to just emptying that whole glass out, if that makes sense. I'm trying to approach it glass half full, but I'll pour that bitch out in a second. So
I don't blame you. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. And then from the I was really hoping with the joint practice yesterday that we would really get some kind of boots on the ground or whatever, right? But I know, it's all the way in Texas.
Yeah, we got some people out there like Mike K's out there. We got Vashti was there. And there's some, but I was also following some of the Houston beat writers yesterday, really to kind of understand what was going on, right? And a lot of the beat writers from Houston said it was even. So, I mean, from a first team, second and third team standpoint, they said it was it was even. I mean, so take it as you will.
And that's what I want to hear, right? But there's this voice that keeps echoing in my mind.
Like Randy Orton, got voices in your head.
Oh my God. But this fella's name is Thomas Brown. And he got up there and lied to all our faces and said, "Oh yeah, Bryce is 2 years into the playbook. Oh, whoopty whoop, whoopty whoop, right?" Then we saw what was really going on, right? So then last year, remember the joint practice with the Jets? Reports were great. Then the regular season started. Rewind a little bit. The third preseason game, Bryce got in there, drove down the field, touchdown pass to what's the tight end that we keep cutting? Jordan Matthews.
Oh yeah. Yep. That was against Buffalo.
Yep. He was out. Done. We were all, oh yeah, okay. Canellis has done it. Then we saw first pass of the New Orleans game.
Yep.
Like, holy shit, we're in trouble.
Yep.
But I'll say this, I'm truly not as worried about the offense. Like, I really believe, like, we're going to be clicking on offense. I really do. I'm not going to say we're going to come out the gate, putting up 40, but we're going to, once we, start sinking and everything, we're going to start going. Still a little worried about the defense. I'm still on my glass half full things because Dan did this year what he did last year with the O-line, and he plunged money into that defensive line, right? But I also kept seeing reports yesterday about pass rush is still an issue. We're getting coverage sacks. Then I'm seeing people say, ooh, no, they were getting to CJ. So I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, coverage sacks are like, technically, it could have been a sack, but then you don't know if it truly could have been a sack. Like, that's kind of what that is. Yeah. So it's like, but from according to other reports, it was like, well, Pat Jones really did sack CJ Stroud twice yesterday. So, it's like, you don't know. And so that's the thing that so frustrates me because I planned on going to training camp this year. I was, before all that. And so then I even bought a tripod, one of those tripods, you like hold like this and it goes with the motion. Right. So, and I spent like $80 on that damn thing. And I was like, we're going to get some good content. And of course they're like, nah, we ain't doing it this year. And I was like, well, I mean, I still use that thing, but still it's just like, I was so ready for it because I was gonna go this year. So, and then and I think that, but yeah, it's like we don't like for us content creators, right? Too, it's like it's like we're seeing it from your point of view too. It's like because we can't, I don't have credentials to get in there. Now, can I get credentials? That's later on down the road. I'm working on that actually as we speak. I've been like talking with NFL communications, like emailing back and forth, figuring out what I need to do get the channel to be able to do that. So, so hopefully down the road we can get that done. But no, I get it. I see where you're coming from because it's like we're seeing it from afar. We're seeing all these highlights from X and all that stuff, and it's just like, what do I take from this? Do I take that this is good? Like even with the highlights I'm posting, it's like, it's like, is this good? Like, yeah, it's good. We got to see an 80-yard touchdown pass to T-Mac in the joint practice, but again, it's like, okay, what was that against the first team or second team or like who was it against? But again, that clip was against Derek Stingley. So
we'll take that all day.
Yeah, so that was first team defense, by the way. So but no, I get it, man. And the depth, it's like, and I get it because everybody's biggest concern from the depth standpoint, like, and I'm gonna go back to that image right there. It's like, it's just like I said, Kendall, it's like when that defense fell off a cliff once the starters left.
And that's when Shedeur shined. Not to take anything away from him because I'm rooting for him outside of when he's playing us because I'm such a fan of his dad. But he didn't do anything until we took our starters off.
Yeah, exactly. He went and I saw it. It was like 3 for 7. And I think it was 30-something yards, maybe, or it was like maybe less than that. I don't know. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot of yards.
Less. I think it was like 28 yards. Like,
okay, yeah, but he was like 3 for 7. So yeah. And then they take the first guys out. Next thing you know, he just goes and balls out. That's why it's like it's so hard for me to say. Like that's what I was saying. Like getting to in this thing, it's like, you know, they were fine with that brief moment when the first team goes out there, but these backups were just consistently, if you go rewatch the dang clips and watch the tape, like this, they're constantly getting pushed around and out of position, and they just then, flat out just get beaten.
Right. And then like our new studs were forced to play with them, Scorton and Princely.
Yep.
They had them in there with those guys.
Yep.
So, you know, limiting their potential or whatever.
Yep. So, and it's that's the thing I'm going to be, and I'm actually going to dive into that here shortly, but I want to give a shout out to Flame for Jesus for gifting you guys. Of course, it goes to you guys. 10, it goes to the channel, but it helps out the channel tremendously. But 10 gifted for I don't know who all got it, but it looks like a couple of you guys got it. 10 of you did. So shout out to Flame for Jesus, everyone. W's in the chat for Jesus. Appreciate you doing that and blessing the channel. So shout out to you, Flame for Jesus.
Question for you.
Go ahead.
Speaking of safeties, do you anticipate any undrafted safeties to make this squad? Not I'm talking this year, not Damani.
Let me go look at the roster real quick.
Because we usually keep what, 4?
No, it's 2 on both sides mainly. Most of the time they keep most of the time I would say keep like 2 each position. So 2 free safeties, 2 strong safeties. I mean, that's normal. I mean, that's what normal teams do. I mean, of course, you know, the Carolina Panthers aren't the most normal team. You know, we've seen that time and time again.
Oh God.
No, normally they would keep 2. So like, and now again, this is going to be a tough call for them because they are going to have to cut somebody. All right. So looking at this roster from a standpoint, I might as well pull it up too. Hold on. I'm going to share it real quick. Let's get over here real quick.
Because you can't tell me there's nobody on the waiver wire or working at Dunkin' Donuts that's better than Nick Scott right now. Like come on.
All right, did I share it? I did. Yeah. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's look at it from a free safety. All right, so let's go down here. Free safety. So we got it right here. All right, so we're talking about. All right, so you're talking about Damani Richardson Ransom. I mean, Isaiah Guilford. I mean, the only guy that I was like looking at that I was like, man, maybe like this guy could be like a sleeper. Like from a sleeper standpoint, I don't even know if he's on this the roster. No, he's not even on the roster thing, but like I still think he's on the roster. I don't think they've cut him yet. Who was my sleeper for this squad? Hold on. I'm trying to find his name. Those guys were locks for sure.
Yeah, like, it's the 4th is going to be Nick Scott. I mean,
where are they at? There they are. So this is who I was looking for. Jack Henderson, too. So both of these. So here's the thing with Isaiah Guilford and Jack Henderson. They're both like, from my tapes and what I've seen, they're like hybrid safeties. So linebacker type guys, like they can get in the box, right? So so Guilford is mainly a box safety, like that's where he pops, right? Whereas like Henderson, which I don't know why ESPN doesn't have him on there because we haven't cut him, can move around in sub packages, so he can play a hybrid role. He can do the box, but he can play back in coverage. He can play the deep ball, but they're both versatile, but I think they're gonna be, those guys are gonna be fighting for the practice squad, right? I mean, could they stick if maybe they got some value in special teams upside or some maybe creative sub package defense roles that Evero puts out there some of the time, maybe. But really, other than that, I mean, to me, I just feel like from a standpoint, Lathan Ransom, for a guy who was a 4th-round rookie from Ohio State, is so tough and he's so smart and he comes from a big time program, right? And he's not the flashiest guy in the world, but he's so disciplined and physical. Like, he's having such a good camp right now, and I think he should be the starter of opposite of Moehrig. Yeah. I think so. And or at least what they need to do is take Damani there and then rotate heavily.
Yeah, I agree. I'll say this. I got a really good buddy of mine that like I work like remotely, so I work with people like all over America. But, a really good work friend that we became friends through other things or whatever. He lives in Cleveland, Ohio. He is a diehard Browns fan and he is a diehard Ohio State fan. Okay. When he saw we drafted that guy, he texted me like, "Dude, you got one. I'm still mad that he's not coming back."
Right.
Like, he was excited for me because he knows I'm such a Panther fan.
Right.
As if he was a Panther fan. Like, he's nothing but good to say about that guy. Nothing but good.
And even everybody in Ohio has nothing but to say good about that guy. Like, and nobody from Ohio State. Like, it's just everything about him is he's just one of those guys who is just so smart and just is like, he's just one of those players that just works hard. That's it. Like, and all he wants to do is play ball. Yeah. Like, that's all he wants. Like, he puts his head down and gets to work. And that's it.
Yep. That's pretty much what he said. Like, he sees ball, he goes to get the ball.
Yeah.
End of story.
And the thing is he will clean your clock.
That too. Yeah.
He will clean your clock in a heartbeat. And that's why I loved him, because I was like, when we drafted him, I was like, he was one of my guys. Like, if we weren't going to get the guy out of Texas, oh my God, Muka.
Mabuke or something like that.
Yeah, he was the one I wanted, but him and Ransom kind of played the similar style. Except I would say Mukaba was probably better when I watched this tape. Was a better coverage, but Lathan is what we need, right? Because again, he's a certified tackler. Like, he doesn't miss a lot of tackles. I think his whole career at Ohio State, he only missed 7. So I remember a stat like that out there for him. So that's the reason why I like him too, because he's going to help us out in the run game. And was Carolina so bad at last year was the run game. Damani, I think, is a better coverage guy. I think he can cover deep better. I think I think that's what he brings to the table, right? And he started 5 of the 7 games he played last year. Damani did, and he held his own. But he's also very good in run support too. I can't knock him on the run game. I just think he's a better coverage safety. Some people think he's just not as rangy as a coverage safety. I disagree, because he's an assignment sound type of guy, and he's got tough traits. And I think that this safety group really needs. So again, depth at the safety thing is not an issue. Again, I just think that really from a safety standpoint, there really isn't now, because what I've seen out of Damani and Lathan, and at least what I'm getting from these reports, again, I get it, glass half full, or you can pour the bitch out, whichever one you feel. But at the end of the day, the depth issue for me is not necessarily the safety room. It's still the D line for me. Like, I need these guys to step up. I need this, because you're going to have injuries on that front 7. It happens
What about the linebacker room?
That too. I mean, the linebacker room, you can't tell me, you can't tell me besides like right now. I mean, again, Chris Barnes stepped up in this joint practice from what I heard. He was making plays out there, had a pick, right? Making tackles, right? He's also a special teams value. So that's what he brings to the table. Whereas you got Christian Roseboom, who, again, I know I'm knocking him because I keep saying he's a fringe starter at best. But, again, he did have a shit ton of tackles last year for a short period of time. So, credit where credit's due there. Tre'von Wallace is going to have to step up.
That's the big question mark to me.
It is. And he's going to have to stay healthy. Again, he played 15 games last year, but he didn't play the last 3 games last year, right? So, I mean, again, Tre'von Wallace has all the athletic traits for me. He's got the speed. He's got the range. He's got the explosiveness. What he doesn't have yet, though, and it's because again, he came in as a rookie. He's came into a new system, a very complex system, by the way. So he's gonna get every opportunity to prove he's ready to start, and he's doing that right now. But again, it's not going to be handed to him, especially not with more experienced players, even with a guy like Chris Barnes, right? And you can't sleep on that guy right there, number 57, Van Martin Scott, because I think he's a sleeper. The reason why I think he's a sleeper is because he's out there making plays, and you also handed him $300,000 of undrafted free agent guaranteed money, right? So basically, when you brought him in, you're essentially saying for that price, we don't want to risk losing this guy. I get that he was a late, and I'm saying this as a Gamecock fan because I watched him play. He was a late bloomer at South Carolina, but he has an NFL body and he's got an NFL attitude. I think if he continues to make plays and continue to show flashes in camp and these joint practices and stuff like that, he keeps showing some value on special teams, right? Again, and if he can even have a little juice on that defense, like I said, he can make this 53-man roster. And he could also end up making himself a well-known name over time. It just, again, he's also 25 years old.
Or they'll pull a Scott Fitterer and trade.
Don't say that name. That name's banned here. That name is that's like saying you worship Satan.
God. He'll give away a 4th to get the guy he just cut back.
Golly. Yeah, I mean, he would give a 4th round pickup for somebody's undrafted free agent that we've never heard of. But no, the only thing you can do at this point, if they don't believe in any of these guys besides Chris Barnes, Tre'von Wallace, and Roseboom, then you're gonna have to make a decision. Like either you're gonna have to make a trade, or you better hope somebody cuts somebody on that waiver wire that's gonna be worth a damn.
Yeah, speaking of that, I actually forgot that they changed the rules this year as far as like the cuts go. When is the first cut, or is it just one cut this year?
Normally, I think I think we can, if anybody gets cut now, we can go ahead and get them. Like we just,
when does teams have to trim the roster down?
Oh, right before it's the week before the week 1, or it's the week because after the Steelers game when we have that time off, if I'm not mistaken, a whole week before we go into week 1, right? So I'm pretty sure we have to cut it the week right after. Yeah, I think it's the week right after, if I'm not mistaken, after the Steelers game.
Okay. So it's only one cut, one roster trim this year?
They might give them like 2. They might give them a couple days, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I could because
I feel like they give them like 2 to 3 days to really cut down the roster.
Okay.
I feel like I could be wrong. Again, this is the time of year that I can't remember everything.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it.
I can't remember because I'm like, well, did we do it through 2 days last year? Did we do it 3 days last year? Yeah, I just can't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's normally. Sometimes I think I could be wrong. They might do it all in one day. I mean, I just can't remember.
Yeah, because before they did it in waves, so you had early access to guys.
When to NFL teams
to get off, but now if they're doing it like the week or 2 weeks before week 1, it's like, ooh, you better choose wisely.
It says right here, according to reports, that it will be all in one day. The deadline, no, it won't. It's not one day. It's just they have a deadline. So basically, the teams are required to start cutting their 90, if they have 90 players or how many players they have, to cut it down to 53. It's by a single deadline. So for the 2025 season, it's going to be the deadline for us. It's a single cut date, and it's saying that it's Tuesday the 27th, August 27th.
Is that next week? Monday's the 18th. No, it's the following week.
Yeah, it's the following week. So it's not next week. It's the following week. It's the Tuesday, not next, but the next.
Oh man, that shit's gonna be interesting because this is the first year they're doing it like this. There's gonna be so many names at once.
Yeah, because it says right here, unlike in previous years, the NFL now has a single deadline for teams to make their cuts, rather than a series of gradual reductions throughout the preseason. So it's all about this deadline. Typically falls on the last Tuesday of August, shortly after the final preseason game concludes. So I knew it was after the final preseason game concludes. I just didn't know the exact date.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And then that means also waiver claims. So following the 53-man roster cuts, teams have a window to make waiver claims on players who have been released by other teams.
So are we 8th since we drafted 8 this year?
No, because I think it's depending on where
the win percentage. If that's the case, we'll be higher.
I think it is based off where are the Carolina Panthers on the waiver claims list. It says we're first. I don't think that's right. There's no way that's correct. No, that's for last year, so I don't know. It's not telling me what we are this year. It's not telling me what we are this year, so no. So I don't know.
Either way, we're up there somewhere.
Yes, it might be 8th. It might be 8th. You might be right. So even then, if we're 8th, you can still get some talent. You can still get some
absolutely.
Talent. So, all right. So let's move. I want to go on to this right here, the rookie watch. Of course, we're talking about it. We kind of briefly touched on it. This is something I'm going to be watching for as well. Because I felt like this rookie, like for the most part, I felt like this rookie class made some impressions, right? I've especially for like Nick Scourton. He was the highest graded defender in the entire league last Friday, by the way, according to PFF. According to PFF, he was the highest graded defender, and of course he's a second round pick, but highest graded defender in the entire league last Friday, according to PFF. So again, I went back and watched his tape for a little bit. I felt like he showed advanced hand usage. I thought he had a quick first step, and ability to win on one-on-ones. So he's tracking to be a 3-down player sooner rather than later. Of course, the thing that did worry me, though, him being in Houston, him being a Texas boy, and then he gets heat exhaustion in Houston, Texas. So I was like, Scourton, what's happening here, bud? What's going on? So, yeah. So I'm going to be watching, obviously, Nick Scourton. Princely Umamielen played a ton of snaps as well, opposite of Scourton. He wasn't as disruptive, but his length and closing speed, I think, is great. I think he's got some flashes there, showed some of it, but I want to see him take a step forward. I want to see both of these guys keep giving heavy preseason reps, right? The more they get, the better it is going to be for them. And, of course, I think everybody is going to be watching this guy. Corey Thornton, of course, is quickly putting together one of the better training camps of any defensive player I think we've seen in a long time, especially for an undrafted guy. Like, is this guy going to end up being the Jalen Coker of this corner room, right?
Dan cooked again.
I got to give Dan credit. He's found some undrafted free agents, man. I mean, his this guy's the thing about him. He's got size on him. Like you look at him, look at his arms. Like he's got some. I mean, that boy's got some meat on his bones for a corner. So instincts, got great zone coverage skills. He's got ball skills on ball skills. Like I like what this kid brings. I think he's tailor-made for his size for this Evero scheme because he fits it perfectly for his size. They love those 6'1", 6'2" guys, 210, right? So, he's not just a camp body anymore. I mean, this guy's already going to make the 53-man roster. He's legitimate playing his way onto the 53-man roster. And I'll tell you this, hot take or not, knock on wood, I don't want this to happen, but I feel like if J.C. Horn did go down, I would still feel comfortable with Corey Thornton in there.
I like our secondary. I'd like to see more from Mello Dotson. Not saying he isn't doing anything, but they just haven't talked about him.
I would love to see Mello Dotson too. I think he brings a lot to the table. When I watched him over in Kansas, man, I mean, he's such a good corner in zone coverage. Like that was his bread and butter over there in Kansas. And I was a big fan of his counterpart too, Kobe.
Yeah, yep.
I mean, but no, I'm just kidding. Not RIP, not that Kobe.
Yeah, and zone, that's probably one of the reasons why they went out and got him because like zone, that's Evero's nutbuster. Like
another thing is too, man. Like you look at him, you gotta look at his size. He's 6'1", 190. He's not 200, not 210, but he's 6'1", 190. Like he fits best in a very zone heavy scheme, right?
Could we put him at safety at free?
Maybe. He's not a guy, he's not a run stuffer. I mean, here's the thing with him is he's got a real feel for natural route concepts. And I think his ability to anticipate throws makes him a real asset in coverage. Now, he's not going to be that guy who's the most twitchy or the most physical, dominant corner, right? But he understands how to play when you watch his tape. When you watch his tape, he understands how to play his role, is what I'm saying. Like, he can disrupt passing lanes. If you're expecting a press man lockdown guy, move along. Like, he's not that guy. He's not. All right. But for a team running a lot of quarters coverage, which Evero kind of does. I mean, only when we really need to. But, he's a solid mid. I thought that Mel Dotson was a solid mid-round pick, right? And so that's what you're getting out of him. That's what I saw on his tape. I would love to see him get some burn, love to see him make some plays. Who knows? Maybe he's just right now, even, he got, cut from the Raiders. Maybe he just needs some time to develop and get up to the NFL speed, but that could be it too.
You think he's going to get stashed? Do you think he had a chance to make the 53?
No, I don't think he's got a chance to make the 53. I think he's going to be a stash guy at this point because what has he done? We haven't heard anything from him. All we've been hearing from is Corey Thornton and the other guy that has been making plays is Shamar Bartholomew.
Bartholomew.
Yep. So I don't, out of any of those guys, I don't know who's going to really. I don't think Dotson's going to make the. I think he'll make the practice squad. I don't think he's going to make the 53-man roster. No.
Yeah, because our secondary, like before the offseason, not before the offseason, like before like camp and everything or whatever, I was like, oh my God, I was one of the ones. Sign a damn corner, sign a damn safety.
Yeah. Well. The good thing is I feel better. I honestly feel better about it. It's crazy to say this. I feel more comfortable with our secondary than I do, and that's for safety and corner, than I do from a defensive line and a linebacker standpoint.
Exactly. Like my point. Yeah, exactly. Like I guess it's one of those, And
I'm talking about from a depth standpoint, not our starters. Like, I mean, I think our starters, of course, linebacker, I think that our defensive line is going to eat a lot of space up. I really do. I think our defensive line between you having David Robb, or not David Robb, You're going to have Bobby Brown III out there. You're going to have, of course, you got your boy. We got our boy back, Derek Brown out there. And then, of course, alongside them, whether it's Tre'von or A'Shawn Robinson, like, I think those guys can legitimately.
You left your boy Shy out.
Who?
You left your boy Shy out.
I didn't leave him out. He can leave for all I care. They can cut him in a heartbeat, and I'd be fine. All right, wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't be no skin off my back. I can tell you that. You know what I mean? But like, the biggest thing is that at this point, though, we know from a defensive line standpoint that this Derek Brown has got to stay healthy. He is the heart and soul on this defensive line, and without him, I don't know if it functions without him. Because seriously, when he went out, this whole defense completely collapsed.
It was done.
Completely collapsed.
Even if Shaq wouldn't have gotten hurt, it would have been over.
I don't know. I think that it might have been even a little bit better with Shaq because Shaq's a leader and he's a communicator. And so I can make the argument that it might have been a little bit better. But it wouldn't have been much. It wouldn't have been by much, right? So, my expectations with this, I mean, I still think that this first team defensive line looks better on paper, mostly because we were just so bad last year. And it can't get worse. It can't get worse. We were dead last in every category except, I think, whatever it was. I think it was passing defense. I think we were 23rd, but it's still terrible. But the addition of having a guy like Bobby Brown III, ooh, nice pass. Bobby Brown III and like a healthy Derek Brown should fix a lot, right? But the depth, again, it's still a bit shaky. Like because here's the thing. You got Derek Brown, you got Bobby Brown III, you got A'Shawn Robinson, you got Tershawn Wharton. That's your top four. There's a major drop-off after that. You got Shy Tuttle, who is just teetering. His stock is just so it's just going straight down. Whereas I think Cam Jackson's stock is going up, but he's still unproven. I think Kermeti's stock is going up because I think he would be a great backup behind Derek Brown. And
they held on to him for a reason.
Yeah, and I think he's coming off an injury. And a guy that we probably shouldn't be sleeping on, and I think he's a dark horse, is that Jared Harrison Hunt. Because he's Jared Harrison Hunt. Let me give you a little insight on him. I don't know how much people know about this guy. Let me pull him up real quick. I think he's a dark horse on this team. I really do. The reason why I think he's a dark horse is because this guy actually has some real quickness. When I watched his film, he has developed some arsenal moves that I haven't seen from a guy like his size. Something a lot of this D-line lacks is a lot of interior pass rush potential, which this guy can bring. If he can stack some strong practices, which he has had a few, create some pressure in preseason action, which he hasn't yet, but I need to see. He won't be able to sneak it. They probably won't be able to sneak him onto the 53, but I could see him make that practice squad, and he could be a guy that we could, but if you're betting on him, you would be betting on him as being one of those unknowns to make the 53. But he could be that guy that does. I don't know. I think he's more of a practice squad player as of right now, like where he stands. But I think he could be one of those unknowns that it could shock somebody and make the 53, and then we get rid of a guy like Shy Tuttle. I mean, you're looking at a guy who's 6'4", 294. So out of SMU. I mean, and I think he had some pretty good stats, if I'm not mistaken, at SMU. Let's see.
And Cam Jackson is apparently hurt again. Off to the sidelines.
Yeah, he's dealing with a little, what was it? I had it pinned the other day. He's dealing with a little something. Trevor Wallace didn't practice either because dealing with personal issues. Jalen Coker didn't practice yet in the joint practice due to illness.
I hope he's better by tomorrow, but I can see them not saying, you know what, just rest up.
Yeah, right.
He's got nothing to prove at this point.
Yeah, but look at this guy though. He had 42 total tackles his last year at SMU, 18 solo, 24 assisted, but had 6.5 sacks and had an interception for 13 yards.
Damn, as a tackle?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Defensive end. 6'4", 294.
Ooh, okay.
So I'm saying there could be a guy that you just, never know. You never know. Shout out to Flame for Jesus again with 5 more gifted memberships again. Good Lord. Shout out to you. Thank you for blessing the channel once again, Flame for Jesus. I greatly appreciate that.
Another one.
All right, well, brother, I'm not gonna keep taking your time up here, man. I appreciate you allowing me.
Absolutely, man. I'm gonna try to do more of these throughout the season. Let y'all guys come up and hang out, chill, shoot some shit, and talk some ball.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I appreciate it. I'm not gonna drop off. I'm still gonna keep watching, but free up some space for someone else.
I feel you, man. I appreciate you coming through.
All right, brother.
All right, thanks, Kendall. Have a good night, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Kendall for coming through. But yeah, man. So, there was something else I wanted to go over too. There's something else I wanted to go over. Oh my gosh, my brain is all over the place tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, shout out to Kendall for coming through, guys. Appreciate give him some love in the chat, by the way. But again, shout out to Flame for Jesus for gifted $5 for 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you for doing that. Flame for Jesus, you have been blessed in this channel tremendously a lot lately, and I really appreciate you doing that. It means a lot to me. I don't know what else to say, but I appreciate it. All right, so other than that, guys, I'm gonna just give you my top 5 things to watch. I'm gonna end the show on this. So based off of everything we've gone through tonight, my number one thing for this game is gonna be the number one thing is going to be the defense, mainly the defensive line, right? I need to see this defensive line again. I need to see this defensive line show the depth. Again, that is number one for me. So when I'm talking about top 5, this is number 1. Including into that defensive depth thing, like the whole depth situation. All right, I need to see these backups be the ones pushing guys around. I need to see them be in position. I need to see them. The number one thing I need to see all defensive players really, but from a defensive line standpoint, tackles. And the whole defense as a whole, tackle. I do not want to see these shoulder tackles. I need to see true tackling. Make the tackle, right? Go for the legs. Because we've seen so many. We've seen so many missed tackles. And it's not just one player, it's multiple players. So tackling is the number one thing I'm going to be watching. But of course, the defensive line depth makes to see who actually steps up, right? And I'm talking about from a player standpoint. Who's going to be the guy that actually steps up on this defensive line, right? By the way, great job at the roundtable, Clay. Way to represent. Yeah, y'all guys got to continue to come through, man. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. EST, NFC South Roundtable by Roundtable Sports. Be there or be gay. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Sorry. Wasn't nice. That was not nice of me. Shouldn't have said that. Sorry. I shouldn't have said that. It was not very nice. It's not nice.
Gay.
Yeah. All right. My other thing I want to talk about, another thing I want to watch is Bryce Young, T-Mac chemistry. We saw the flashes, a potential deep threat connection last week, but timing issues cost them a touchdown. But again, this is a disciplined Texans defense. Can we tighten that rhythm, right? If so, Carolina's offense suddenly looks more explosive than they did last year, right? Another thing I'm going to be watching again is what we were going over is that offensive line depth. When we've got Lewis, Zavala sideline, that interior offensive line is in trial by fire. So again, Houston's defensive front is aggressive. Okay. So this matchup will show whether Carolina's line can keep Bryce Young upright or if the depth is a serious liability. Right. And then, of course, the safety room, Nick Scott got the starting nod. But again, Damani Richardson and Lathan Ransom are going to be pushing for that. And they're going to take it. Because Richardson had a tackle. And I think he had a sack versus Cleveland, if I'm not mistaken. So that stood out. And if he can continue to have an impact, that can vault him ahead of Scott easily. So this battle could reshape the week 1 secondary, in my opinion. Now, from the rookie defenders, Nick Swarton dominated in week 1. I felt like showed some polish well beyond a rookie edge rusher. For me, Princely, Young, Corey Thornton also earned some extended looks. I'm going to be watching them. But if Swarton and Thornton keep shining, again, some of this depth problems that we keep looking at looks a little less bleak, especially with guys like that stepping up. And the defensive rebuild does then look like it did a serious boost. So all I'm going to say to you guys, though, is this. Please forget about the scoreboard. This Texans game is about real reps for this team. It's going to separate the guys who are going to be here in that 53-man roster and who the guys aren't. So just pay attention to the players and not the scoreboard. All right. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So shout out to everybody tonight. We've been live for over an hour and 40 minutes. I appreciate everybody coming through, showing your love, showing your support. It means a lot to me week in and week out that I'm live. Of course, this is week in and week out. So, and almost every day. So shout out to Kendall coming up, talking some ball. Lomax as well coming up, talking some ball. Again, I appreciate those guys coming through. Again, we're going to do more of these. So feel free to come on up and just shoot the shit, man. We're going to do more of these. All right. Other than that, guys, I haven't decided if I'm going to do a play-by. No, I can't do a play-by-play tomorrow because I'm going to be spending some father and daughter time. But luckily enough, father and daughter time can be football time, right? So I'm definitely going to be watching the game. All right, so that counts. But I'll probably go take her and go do something with her tomorrow morning or something, and then we'll come back to the house around 1 and watch the game and chillax the rest of the day. So I'll be watching my daughter. My wife will be. I call her my wife, even though we're not married, but she's the wife. So, but she's got to work tomorrow. So be father-daughter day tomorrow. Me and my daughter will hang out, and then we'll go do something, and then go watch the game. So maybe we'll take her to a bar. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to take her to a bar. All right. Other than that, guys, I appreciate y'all coming through. I will see you guys maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll just do a post game tomorrow. So shout out to you guys, everyone showing some love in the chat. Shout out to Flame for Jesus for just blessing the channel with 15 gifted memberships today, by the way. Shout out to him. Good God Almighty. Shout out to Flame for Jesus. I appreciate that, man. Other than that, guys, I will see y'all possibly tomorrow. If not, maybe Sunday. If not, I'll see you on Monday for sure. Peace. Keep pounding, guys.